So, to officially welcome you to the day of transition practice and thank you for joining us live or maybe watching the recording a bit later. We are here for the session we have named Colibri, inspiring talks on energizing networks and alliances. And this is meant to be like a collection of shorter presentations which aim to inspire, to uplift. Because as you know, the hummingbirds, they're really beautiful and they also serve important role in the ecosystem to pollinate important crops and flowers. So in the same way, we want also to have this connection with different groups, mostly for this time of the day across Europe, and to spread this effect a bit wider for the sake of this revitalizing the human and non-human ecosystems.
Hi from Zagreb. We have a sunny day today, but I'm stuck on some education for 3 days, so I'm mostly inside. But I used this opportunity to be with you, and I'm very, very excited for being here. So you want me to, it's okay for just introducing myself?
I think it's okay if we go, and then we'll introduce each person as their section starts. So yeah, I think okay to start. Would you like me to share your slides?
Oh, okay. So I'm leading 2 community centers, and this is the story how I got into the transition movement and how I completely transformed my life from something what was business as usual to my work now is to build communities. So yeah, we can go. Zagreb is a city that has around 1 million citizens, and in this district that I started my initiative, Udruga means association, so association Vestigium. Vestigium means footprint, Latin. And when we started this, we didn't have actually clue what we are going to do, but what we missed in our neighborhood was lack of healthcare center, farmers market, library. They just built buildings and shopping centers, biggest casino, and McDonald's restaurants. So we missed some community activities there. So, we can go on. So this is one main square in our neighborhood, what it used to look like. It was a really gray surface, and a lot of people in our neighborhood didn't know that there was a square because it was so ugly that nobody even had perception that there is a square because they didn't go there. And we felt, me and my friends, so 6 friends, sat and we discussed that we missed something in our lives because we were young women working all day and coming home to sleep, perhaps go out, but life didn't have much sense back then. But then we started this association, and our plan was to do some creative workshops for children and for women. We became mothers that time. That was also something that pushed us to reconsider the way we want our neighborhood to look like and what we want to have for our children in this neighborhood. And like they say, the universe gives you, tools and resources when you need them. So about 1 month before launching our association, we were invited to see a movie in transition that was hosted by Nenad and Boga that brought transition movement to Croatia. And when me and my friends saw this movie, we were like holding hands in the audience, and we were like, "Yeah, that's that." Yes, you know, a lot of people in the world also felt what we felt. So we really, after seeing that movie, we really felt inspired and connected to people in all over the world. So we can go on. So what we did, we launched opening of our association with activity of inviting people to come and plant flowers on that blank square, and it's simply made avalanche of happenings after that. So people felt invited, and they came and they started to talk about their needs, about their skills that they want to share with others. So this little space of ours that is less than 80 square meters became center of our community. So in this stage, we don't have community. We only have neighborhood and a lot of people that don't know each other. But now it exists 11 years. So we can really say that we created a community, and not just for our neighborhood, but a lot of people from all over the city come to us and join our activities. And we really started it like what we were doing what we could, you know, do what you can from permaculture. We didn't have much knowledges, but we shared simply what we knew. You know, someone was leading workshops for kids, someone workshops for natural cosmetics, someone for I don't know. We have now yoga, drawing, pottery, gardening, textile design, so all kinds of things. So we also have this community of expats in Zagreb, so people that came to live to Zagreb, and they were searching for a community to join and to be part of it. And when what they found while they were researching was us. So we also accept a lot of these people that came from other countries to live in Zagreb, and we are very proud this young boy and girl, they met in our association, and now they have a baby after 2 years. And he's from New Zealand and she's from Brazil, and they met in our community, so we are very proud for having them in our association. So we can go on. Also, one of the activities it didn't stop on these creative things, but we wanted to for my family, I wanted to order a green basket of vegetables from local farmers. So I ordered this one basket, but my friends from association told me, "Why did you order just for yourself? We want it too." So this also. After 1 year, we had around 20 users of this green basket, and around 5 farmers coming to bring us these green baskets. But now, after 11 years, we have a database of 50 farmers that come, of course, when they have some products. A lot of them, they just have seasonal products. No, they're not with us all the time, but when they have some more that they need to sell. We also go to their farms and help them plant, harvest, and we became friends with them. So this farmers market, I know maybe in your cities you have them, but in our city they are dying. Most of people go to shopping centers and buy vegetables in plastic. We are basically, I don't know, I think we have perhaps 3 initiatives like this in whole country. So this is for us, for our country, this is a big success. So we can go on. something about our space. So we didn't get this space from the city. So this is also perhaps in your countries and cities you get the support from your cities, local councils. But in our case, we rented this space and pay price by the market price of the space and industrial electricity and all other bills. So a lot of effort we have to invest into raising money, enough money to pay for this space. So nobody gave us. We are doing it like we are commercial, not like association. So people are really happy that they have this place and that they are part of this community. So every time we have a lack of funds to cover these bills, people always step in and give their money because this space is really important to all of the community. So what we did with the space, it was blank canvas, it was white and like the square. It also gave us opportunity to design it and decorate it like we wanted, and because it's a pretty little crowd of people. Everybody brought one chair or one shelf, or one brought a fridge, one brought a cooking devices. So it's really like we are upcycling also furniture, and we have a free exchange of books and clothes in this space. Yeah, also this space and the time that we use in this space for organizing, we use Google Calendar that has around 50 people on it. So they all like create the time when they want to do something in this space. So we do pretty much self-organization in small teams rather than have a hierarchy of one person leading everything. And we are really open to recognizing human needs but also their potentials too. And we connect these needs and potentials in people to for these needs to be satisfied in it. Also, we are mentoring new initiatives. That's when often people come to us and say that this what we do is amazing, and they are pretty much like excited and yeah, we will do this in our community too. But a lot of them don't succeed because it's really a lot of time and effort that needs to be invested to be successful. So it has to be personal and important to personally to the person that wants to start something like this. Okay, go. So this is other neighborhood that we started to work in because me and my family moved to this rural area of Zagreb. And we also came to a part of the city that doesn't have also library, cultural center, farmers market. Okay, there are farms. But also one problem that was here that we couldn't rent a space. Here there wasn't any square. It's just a village that is on a big surface. But we don't have like a central position where you can put some community center, so or space to be rented. So we decided, okay, we can go on. We decided to open a community center in our house. So this is the house where I live. On the top floor, my husband, my two sons, and my cat. We live upstairs, and downstairs is a community center where we now for 2 years we do all kinds of activities. Mainly, also we are asking people what are their needs and what are their skills, and by that we are creating contents. So what was the problem? Also in this village, it's basically 20 little villages that are not really connected. And in every this village, there used to be some kind of community space. But with years of bad government, they become used only by political parties. So I also got engaged in this local city council to try to change that. And nowadays we have this Green Left Party that is running the city of Zagreb. And we got into 3 of these community spaces in the villages, and we are doing mostly organizing these events for free. Like, for instance, one people are letting us know what they need, then we ask them, okay, how do you suggest that we organize this? So in a lot of times they are the ones that are responding to the needs they have, and they organize the content they want. So they're not anymore waiting for somebody else to come and do this, but they
Oh, Irena, I think you froze. Is Irena frozen on other folks' screens as well?
Yeah, it's frozen for me.
Ah. Oh, I think we lost Irena. So maybe we shift to... Ah, Irena, you're back. We lost you for a second.
something happened. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Perhaps internet connection.
Oh, good.
So one more thing that I wanted to say is an example of good practice is also gardens of Breza. Brezovica is the village where I live now. And this gardens is one lady in the village. She had a lot of land inherited when her father passed away, and she didn't know what to do. So we sat with her and discussed what are the options. And she decided after talking that she could use this land to offer as community gardens. So there is now a little community of 20 gardeners that are using her land to have garden on it and to grow food. And we cooperate with them by organizing all kinds of events also in these gardens. Also, we started the cooperative because during these years of work, we collected this, I said already, around 50 farmers and around 80 creative people, artists that are doing some workshops. So this cooperative is connecting all of them. It's still not like that we are working something, but we are still in a phase of organizing this cooperative to start working broader than just local. So this is my story.
Yes, thank you, Irena. And I just want to uplift all the beautiful comments in the chat. Maybe I'll just read a couple. It's so interesting to hear what is similar and what is different. The work you're doing and work in different contexts. People share they love to see all the smiles. I wrote this one. I love to see all the smiles in the photos. Other people said yes, me too. Brilliantly inspiring and complex story. Amazing work, Irena. So lots of love coming into the chat and appreciation. You bring transition and transformation wherever you go. So thank you so much, Irena, and we'll circle around at the end for questions and more discussion. And I'll pass it over to Lisa to segue into the next part here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Dan, and thank you, Irena. It was really, really amazingly inspiring. And so we are before we move to Tracey and the story of Transition Wekerle and Hungary, I wanted just to look a bit into the graphic harvesting by Alessandra, and just to see also that we are also capturing those nice moments shared by the panelists and the presenters, and it's really incredible, like a memory charm that will stay after the session. So with this, I would like to welcome Tracey and share your story, please.
First of all, unmute myself. How's my voice? Is that loud enough? Yeah, cool, excellent. Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to use a Prezi, so I'll turn that on. Hopefully this is coming through to you guys okay as well. This is us here in Wekerle, which it's part of Budapest. So basically, Budapest, Hungary. Wekerle is a really interesting story all by itself. It's 120 years old neighborhood in the south of Budapest. So basically, it's right next to the old original border. So this used to be a big field, and about 120 years ago, people internationally were asking the question like, why are our cities so bad? Why are cities making us sick? And they came up with the Garden City movement. And Wekerle estate is the biggest example of a Garden City movement development here in Europe. At the moment, it's about 11,000 inhabitants. At one point, it was actually 23,000 inhabitants. It's a small space. It's about 1 square kilometre. But, being here, the Transition Wekerle, we really have the feeling that it's not that we started a story, it's that we continued a story. And it was a story which was already really innovative. And I think as well, like, at least for me, it's really nice to be embedded in that. It's really nice to be embedded in the kind of reality that 120 years ago, people were asking themselves, what do we do about this very localized impacts from industry, and how the cities were drawing in the rural communities. So they were asking themselves the questions what to do about the local impacts, and now with Transition we were asking ourselves the question what to do with the global impacts and the effect that we have on the climate. So this was our starting space. We've been around since 2008, and as I said, Transition Wekerle is a little slice of our common story, because since 2008, I mean that's 15, 16 years, we've worked on, I think, just about everything that a transition group quite often does work on. Maybe, for example, we've worked on the local compost question. We helped the council, we cooperated with the council on the local compost scheme. We've had our own self-organised, window insulation project. We've helped about 250 families to insulate their windows. We've gone from being an informal group, which was part of the local community council at one point, to becoming a kind of a local movement, I would say. And about 5 years ago, we set up a cooperative when we started to operate. The space that you see here in this picture, so what you actually see in the picture is our cafe. It's our cafe come community space, which is here on the market. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. So let's see. Yeah, Transition Wekerle, like the images you see in this, this is when we started up 2008, and we asked local people, so what would be different here if people took seriously the question of living together with the environment? What would be different if Wekerle really was climate friendly, people friendly Wekerle? And the kids drew us lots of pictures, and we were really happy to see that within a kids framework within their head, like the idea of our local community being different. We would have apple trees, you know, more apple trees, more flowers. We would have really strange looking solar panels on our roofs underneath really beautiful big like rainbows. And what was quite funny is this little woman here on the right hand side. It's a princess on bicycles. So, you know, the Wekerle inside the kids' heads, if we were to live with the potential of what we actually have here, coming again from the Garden City idea of like bringing together the best of human creativity with the bounty of nature, and that's the framework of the Garden City. You know, if we were to do this, we would live happier and more just lives. So we really think it's a really nice starting point. So, as I said, a slice of what we are. Here's a few things which we've done in the past. This top little picture of the fish, that was kind of a really nice little project we had when we started to work on participatory development. So that when we came into being, when we started to work here as local Greens, we could say, the community council had already been working together with the local municipality on renovating different parts of Wekerle. But we brought in skills which we'd learned from the wider social movements, you know, for facilitation, for example. And so this particular square where the people are putting together the fish, it's a seat which lasted there for about 12 years. There's one left. There was 3 originally. There's one left. 2 got destroyed, unfortunately. But this was the first time we would actually experience what was it like if a bigger group of local people, you know, just based on the fact that they live here, tried to cooperate with the council. And that turned out to be a really, really good experience from the outset. Part of what we do, and I think this is a kind of a little aside, I think part of what we've been doing over the years is we're like a cultural intervention. So there's particular ways of doing things here within this culture, which I think is quite common everywhere. It's hierarchical. The council has responsibilities. They believe they're representative, so they get voted in and they go do something. Whereas some of us came with this challenge of like, well, yeah, you voted in, but you could actually do something together with us because actually we live here and we might have really good ideas. So this is something that we've been pushing with, sometimes with success, depending, and sometimes with a complete failure, depending. We've done a lot of educational work. As you can see, the kids playing with the compost program, which is really, really nice board game we've got. We do a lot of things which help people to change their behaviour. So, for example, the cup that the guy's holding, which is, you know, it's a plastic beer pint glass. That's our local map, which is on it. So it's a really beautiful glass. It used to be here when we had community events, then we would fill 2 skips with rubbish at the end of the 2 community events. And, you know, this was 3,000 people come to the local community group event here. So that's a lot of plastic cups. And so we brought in our own plastic cup, which doesn't sound all that interesting, does it? We've got a local plastic cup, which when there's an event, we use these. The thing that made it interesting was we were able to cooperate with the council on this. And the complete freaky thing was that they agreed that if we set up this programme where on the local events we were using these cups, then they would open up the school's kitchen on the day of the event and they would invite 2 of the workmates to come and wash the dishes and give them extra days off the other time during the week. But just the fact that we could cooperate with the council using their resources, you know, we set up the project, which is quite innovative. We get local kids to carry the dirty glasses by cargo bike to the schools. In the schools, the people wash them and then send them back to the event. And it was, for us, this was quite interesting to see that, you know, with our innovation and the council's resources, you could actually make new systems work. So this was a really big takeaway for us. So that's been a really successful thing which we've done. And since then, the council actually, within the framework of the municipalities and transition project, the council actually made their own glass, you know, with their own branding on it for the wider district. So I think that's quite a good, what would you say, sort of like, I don't know, spin off from that as well. The last picture that you see, this picture, I'll just try and move on. Yeah, that's a picture on our market. So our market is a local farmers market, and what we found is that people really like to use it for community events as well, especially if we organise them. So if you were to actually look up there in the top right-hand corner, you'll see me on my telephone, which is quite a common thing to see in a community event. But we like to organise events on the local market to encourage more people to come, and also to give the kids the experience of what it's like to be in a market as opposed to being in a shopping centre. Now, let me move on a little bit. Yeah, I mentioned the cafe. So this is called the Kuzish, which means the commons, and this is our cafe which we set up, I think it's about three and a half years ago. Part of the funding from this actually came from the Transition Network. It was when we did the municipalities in transition project as part of the pilot project. We had a bit of funding left over, and along with the council, we agreed that we would put this money into investing and doing up this space. So it's a closed day, given that the seats are sitting outside. It's either we've not opened yet or there's somebody inside cleaning. It's a very small space. It's 28 square kilometres, but we use it for a lot of different things. Primarily, it works as a vegan cafe. And we have this kind of, we won an award for being I think they call it the gastronomic heroes, from an organisation which gives recognition to people for trying to make catering or restaurants greener. And so within the first year of opening up, we'd won this award because basically we were like vegan, it's local, seasonal, organic where possible, packaging free, we compost our waste, and the local health authorities know this and they're okay about it, which is quite amazing. And also we have obviously we get a social aspect to what we do as well. So the bottom left-hand picture you see, it's when people were making sandwiches and other food for the people who were coming across the borders from Ukraine. This really motivated people. And again, it was an interesting thing for us to see that we have a resource, haven't we? And when you've got access to a resource such as a community kitchen, then you've got the possibility for, helping others as well because of your own, I don't know, sort of in a sense, privileged position, in these difficult times. So yeah, like that's the kind of thing that we got to use this space for. As I said, we work as a cooperative. There's about 10 of us. There's very different levels of commitment, from people who are working more or less full time to people who maybe just have a buy-in of maybe 1 or 2 hours a month. But after about 3 or 4 quite turbulent years, I'd say we actually do work now, which was, it's quite a relief, to be honest, after so long. Yeah, sorry, a little aside. Yes, that's me. Part of the thing of, working on the local foods, and this mostly what we're looking at just now are the local food related projects. Some of us decided that we're actually even more inspired by this whole gardening thing than, we thought we would be. And 2 of us became legally small farmers as well. And that gives us a really nice thing as well, which means in the morning, if I'm going to work, I go out the door, go into the garden, I pick the lettuce or the onions or whatever, I take them 300 metres, and then we cook them, and people come in for their lunch. And it's such a, this thing about food miles, we're talking here about food meters, and it's quite an inspiring story, again, for people to understand that we all have a little access to a little bit of land. And maybe you can do something with that, which is more than just planting your roses. So yes, I'm a small farmer, as is one of my other colleagues. These are the type of things we've been doing too, which is like we've got high beds outside the cafe. We use the high beds to get people interested in different types of vegetables, partly vegetables as well, which are more climate resistant. For example, the top right corner here is artichokes. People have been fascinated by the artichokes. So many stories, but I'm not going to that. And the bottom right one here is, I think you recognise it, that's sweet potato. We have a lovely story of our sweet potatoes. We actually planted 2 plants and we get 11 kilos. And yeah, we harvested them together. We cooked some of these things together. We took the artichokes, we cut these together, cooked them, took them out to the market so people could taste them. And these little things all just give a little bit extra impulse to the question of what do we eat, where does our food come from, and how can we get better access to local food. So let me move on from this. The sweet potato was a big hit, and I actually used that when we took part in a fundraising event to raise money for something we thought would be really useful where we live. I think I'm moving on to that slide now. We had a dream, let's say. So what I've told you so far have been things which have worked, things that have been a lot of effort, but they mobilize a lot of people. We give a lot of resources out. We create a lot of pathways for people. And we like as well to kind of push the boundaries a little bit. And where we live, we thought it would be nice to have a community garden centre. Not a community garden, but a garden centre. Something more focused on education and growing seedlings to give to the neighbourhood. So the neighbourhood could actually plant them in their own gardens. And we raised some money for this. We took part in a micro, what would you call it? A kind of a micro donations event, which was lovely. It was a really nice event organised by a community foundation in the next district. And from this, we got about 1 million forints. Lush also decided that they would be happy to support us, and they gave us 500,000 towards our project. So we had 1.5 million forints to go on with. We started to look for a place where we could have this, and this is Wekerle. This is where you see the place where we live is. It's amazing to look at from above. It actually looks like a big mandala. And as I said, it's 1 square kilometre. There's trees everywhere. It was 60,000 trees were planted here when they what would you say, when they founded Wekerle. There was 60,000 trees and 16,000 fruit trees, which was lovely. So again, continuing this story, let's have a garden centre. We found a space and we started to lobby the council. This part's going to be quick. We started to lobby the council. We put together presentations. We put together a project description. We had done already some of the fundraising. We came up with a really nice idea of how to upcycle old windows from this district and, create a really unusual looking sort of, what would you say, it's space for growing vegetables on a local sports space. And this is where we come back to a different type of situation in our story. What happens when you reach the blank walls? And this is kind of why I sort of maybe took part in this partly. I'm wondering, where's the balance between being ambitious and wanting to take something forward and being too ambitious and overreaching? So our story, we raised the money, we did the projects, outlines, we collected together 130 letters from people who live locally saying that they would really support this, they would love to have it. It went to the council, and the council basically, for 1.5 years, they said they were on board, we'll make this happen. And then it got stopped at a committee meeting and didn't go further. And they said, sorry, it's not going to happen for political reasons. What happens then? So there you go. I'm doing a bit of a throwback, and I think this is where I come out of my screen sharing. Stop share. Yeah. I hope that wasn't too much for you, Zon. I hope you're still all here. What happens? What happens when you need to be ambitious? You want to be innovative. You've got the resources. Theoretically, you've got the skills, and then the council just doesn't. The council's not got the imagination, and sometimes it's not got at all even the intention of living up to what its otherwise paper commitments would say it should be doing. So then where next? Where next? And that's a real question for us. Tomorrow we've got a community programme writing day. Out of our group, one of us is actually in the council. So we actually have one councillor from Transition Wekerle who became part of the Green Party, was actually already part of the Green Party, got involved in the council, was elected, has done two cycles within the 2 electoral cycles, and come out the other end and said, well, that was a waste of time. So where next? Yeah. So we have a programme writing day tomorrow with our local community. with 30 people from 4 different community groups will get together to write down what we think the local council candidates should be working on, because we have election coming up in a month. And we've run out of ideas. It's incredibly frustrating. We've run out of ideas. We really just don't know where to go next. So there, I'm throwing that to you guys as maybe something we can talk about. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Tracey. And yeah, again, I see a few comments coming in the chat, and if anybody else wants to share anything to Tracey or anything that came up while listening, please share. I'll just read off a couple as I pin the graphic recording, so you can check out what's coming along here. Keep doing beautiful things to the community from Paula. When you said, I wonder if anybody's still here, Hillary's here, definitely still here, really familiar story coming up against the council where she is. And Anahi shared, that's so great. Sorry to hear this last piece, and great to hear you. And I added, we need more gastronomic heroes. So that's such a beautiful little term, and more coming in here. So yeah, feel free to check out the chat. And we have one more story, one more exciting story of transition that will be shared from Jose and Rafaela. And I see you've got another little one with you. I'm not sure if they're going to be sharing as well, but yeah, I'd like to welcome you both for our final story of this session. Now I'll pin you. Here you are.
Hello, everyone. This is Rafaela, Jose, and Rio. Little Rio. Yeah, he's with us all the time. He's a newborn baby. He's already 3 months, and he's he's always with us in all the projects right now, meetings, everything. He's our buddy. And yeah, we are 2 young people that we decided to come to a rural area, a very small little village. And we're going to share with you a little bit how was this process and how the needs that we felt. And because of that needs, we try with the community to change a little bit and to create solutions and collaboration projects. Can we have the presentation? Yeah.
Yes. Can you make us co-host so we can share?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you,
you
Eddie.
should be co-host
ready.
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Already a co-host. Perfect.
Super.
Yeah.
Wait.
Are you here with us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So before we go into it, because we've been hearing for 40 minutes 2 amazing stories,
Exactly.
and when we look in the screen, we barely blink. I will invite you to, before we start, to close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and to see the glow of the world, and to locate where you are, and to envision where everyone that is now present in this room is, from Portugal to Belgium, from other parts of the world. And I invite you to go above and see the glow from above, and start to zoom in a little bit in Portugal, Iberia area, close to Spain. Try to see this peninsula, and if you know where it is, try to locate Lisbon, very close to the Atlantic Ocean, and go 200 kilometers down and still look from above. And there you will find our energy that is present here now. We are 10 kilometers away from the Atlantic Ocean in the coast, with amazing beach that we visit almost every week. And we are in a very, very rural area, in a small village of 2,000 people. without any city around. So it's not like a suburban area or close to a city. It's like really rural area. And I want you to envision all the different initiatives that are around this place. So another 15 kilometers from us, we have Tamera. There is a big intentional community. 2 minutes from us, we have Transition Movement in São Luís. 7 minutes from us, we have Espaço Nativo, it's like a cooperative space. We have Centro Core, and we have tons of initiatives that are part of this ecosystem. And this, what we will share with you, is a story of how some of these initiatives came into life, and what is the function inside this ecosystem that we belong to. And it's not a sole initiative that we will present like an ecosystem. And I invite you to come back to the space and open your eyes. I hope they are more hydrated now. And we will go to this journey. You can go.
Yeah, I hope you are still with us. So, who we are? With a very simple way. I'm Rafa and Jose, and we are two youngsters that came. Jose came from Spain, from Galicia. I came from the big city of Lisbon, specifically more Sintra. And both of us, we found each other in this little village, and we started this journey. As Jose said, we are in a little village with 1,000 inhabitants. And this little village around, as Jose said as well, we are full of projects. So we are kind of, some people say that because of Tamera, in a way, that came here 20 years ago, that is one of the biggest intentional communities in Europe, it came kind of an energy of movement. And we have, I would say, more than 40 projects around us that are doing ecological transition projects. Farms that they do regenerative agriculture and a lot of culture associations. And because of all these movements, a lot of people were sharing that they wanted to create something different. And they would need like a collective hangout place that everybody could be together.
So tell the story chronologically. And before we were here, in 2006, Gaia, that is an environmental association, came into this place.
And Gaia was very important for both of us because it's what kind of made us meet. We both were volunteers with the Erasmus Plus European Solidarity Project now. We were volunteer here. I was in 2017 and Rafaela in 2020. And then in 2012, a transition movement started here in São Luís, which bring together a lot of different initiatives and create artistic festival. But then we can start to tell since we arrived. I arrived in 2017, and in 2020 we started creating a space, a place where we could meet.
So when COVID came, people were questioning where we found our food, that we would have a good place to stay and to connect and to create more stronger relationships. So it was the best times in a way because we find a place finally. We had like a family old place close to the center. It was, we call it right now, Espaço Nativo. And this place was full of garbage. It was crazy. It was really, I would say that a lot of people didn't want to use the place even and not rent it. And we kind of invited all the community to come. And during 2 months, we had every Thursday, we were inviting people to come and to clean the place. So we were having like a soup, like a simple food, and people were coming with their cars, with their gloves, and they were trying to clean the place and putting a lot of garbage outside. It was really crazy times.
This picture here is the same angle pictures.
The same place.
They're done cleaning and undoing and redoing again.
You can see here the light post. So
Yeah, it's the same light post.
then in Espaço Nativa, practically what we do is we have coffee and then a kitchen is like a kind of canteen. Every day there is a different meal served with local, seasonal, organic products. Every day you go there and have a surprise. There is not that big menu. Then we also do cultural events, like you can see here, like traditional dances, but yeah, it goes everything. Yeah, local traditional singing or dance or Portuguese lessons. Yeah, and then we have a grocery that is bulk. You can see here the bulk containers, and it's local. You can see here a local producer of wheat. And we also have working spaces where some of our members and friends. Yeah.
We are right now. Exactly. Now we go to the next step.
Yeah.
That is the regenerative that we invested our energy to create a cooperative that could sustain all the projects that we are trying to make in this village. So we created regenerativa that, in a way, it connected with the integral concept that it contains supposedly all the services that are necessary for the good living. So we really believe that we need to integrate all the needs together, and this cooperativa is the legal structure that supports right now all of us. And right now we are around 137 members, something like that. That for a little village, it's a lot for us. And Espaço Nativa is the headquarters of Regenerativa right now.
Yeah. So for some of you already know what a cooperative is. I will just explain a little bit more for the ones who don't know so well. A cooperative is somewhere in the middle between an association and an enterprise. It's a kind of collective enterprise that have social and ecological responsibility with the territory and the landscape where we live. And we created a form of cooperative that we call integral, but it's represented by multi-sectoriality. So the cooperative normally in the past were like a farmers cooperative or a fisherman cooperative or a building cooperative or services cooperative. But there is a legal form where you can include all these different branches into the same structure. But then at some point when you have like 150 members like we have and people produce different services and products, then we can freely exchange between us and we can sell products that don't go through all the process of like local eggs is not possible to sell in a supermarket, but between members of a cooperative we can sell and trade eggs and whichever other local products and services. And here we share it's not a trick here. So just for the ones who are part of a cooperative, as people were sharing here, we kind of organize horizontally. We use sociocracy as a governance model, and we held regular open meetings where everyone can come and is welcome, and we have a very participatory way to facilitate those sessions. Then another space. So we have already Gaia. Gaia is association. Transition movement is a social movement. We have Espaço Nativa, that is a space. We have the cooperative, and we have another space in the same village.
2 years ago.
Yeah, you want to explain?
So in the CBA, we both of us were trying really to work in the topic of education, and we really believed that we needed to have a space that would integrate all these topics and people would be inspired by this village. And they need a place to stay, to sleep, and to learn more. And we collaborated, me and Jose, and we opened Centro Core, that in a way is focused on cooperation and regeneration. And what it means, Core, Jose?
When we wanted to create this space, we were thinking about several names. And Core, it came as a game of words. Co, it's a prefix who implies to do together most of the times, no? Like cooperate, collaborate, community, consciousness, communication, collective. Yeah, and then there is the re, that it means to do again. And we have regeneration, resilience, reconnection, and with this we kind of stated our values. As you can see here, like we aim to learn or to share experiences that are collaboratively regenerating the landscape, the people, the inner selves. We want to promote the resilience of our community. So for that, when we host experiences here, we make sure that all the local community is integrated, and we are doing that through something that we call purposeful logistics. So all the logistics that are inside a training course or learning mobility are held by the local community. The local cafes have, we created a local currency, and they can go and have breakfast in any cafe. We have the cooperative where we go for lunch, and we buy local cooks for dinner. We hire local facilitators. We hire whichever service or product that our friends and cooperants do. We integrate as much as we can. And then ultimately, we aim to reconnect and to raise consciousness about self, about interpersonal relationships, about the society as a whole, and mainly also with the ecology, you know, and be part of nature again and do from this space, and then learn. We call it co-learning to regenerate. No, like we don't know exactly how to regenerate, but by coming together and exploring those topics, we are discovering together. And then maybe to mention that this may be relevant for some of you also to know that this concept and this project is very inspired by ecoversities. For the ones who are curious, the ecoversities.org is a very nice platform with a lot of resources and a lot of centers of non-formal education or self-directed learning that are all around the world. And the dream phrase I follow and we follow here is like how it will be if an educational system will be for the self-development of the individuals to learn to collaboratively work in community to then together regenerate the earth. No, and this is kind of the dream of how to support personal growth, community engagement, and then nature connection and action. No.
Mm-hmm. So in a very simple way as well, just to be very practical, we are doing courses, as I said. So we do a lot of mobilities. People from a lot of countries, they come and they connect with specific topics. That is the resilience of community, that is agroecology, and in a way, it is tools to collaborate. So we are doing this all the year. As well, we have bioregional development activities that we invite the community to come to the place, and we invite them to think about the region. So about the water, the way that we manage the territory. We speak about special days of Portugal, like the Freedom Day. We do a lot of activities that can integrate more the community and make them speak. As well, we have the School of Community. So we have a place that we invite the people from the village to come to do activities that they want. Yoga, Pilates, all the kind of dances. A little bit is for the local people that they are not so used to come to the place to come more. So we are kind of, related to these three ways of doing in the place. Yeah.
And at this moment, we have, we mentioned here a few active projects. One is Regenerar the Mira, that is a partnership that we have with our municipality, with whom we collaborate quite a lot. We were lucky with our municipality here. They are open, receptive, and ready to support this kind of initiatives. So we host 10 volunteers per year in rural areas, not only in our village, but in other villages around. We have Erasmus Plus accreditation, where we host regular training courses for youth workers in Core. We have a maker lab where we learn together about natural dyeing, the carpentry, and then we have Empurra, That is a local project financed by the Erasmus Plus that is focused only on youth between 13 and 30 from our community and around, to engage them in active participation. And then we have here entrepreneurship programs where we support youth to create their own business. We have youth forums where they come, politicians are there, and they are engaged into conversation and dialogue. And we have human libraries. We use a lot our neighbors to come and tell stories of the past, so that we connect with the Revolution Day. No, that was 2 days ago. We invited elders to tell stories, but also of how it was the place where we live now, 50 years ago, and how were the stories, and what we can learn with those stories of the different humans. And last but not least, we invite you to join us. We have this Instagram that is for you to keep updated of what we are doing whenever we do something. But we have a special one that is on September. Through Erasmus Plus, we are hosting a partnership building activity, and we are looking for other Erasmus Plus active organizations, ideally who work in rural areas and transition movements and are connected with nature. And eventually we can become partners and visit each other, no?
Yeah.
All right, thank you for your time. We did what we could with Rio in the middle.
Rio was participating all the time.
Oh, thank you. I see hearts popping up and some clapping hands and a comment in the chat. Great project. Thank you so much for giving your life force, energy, time, skills, and love to it. Thank you so much for sharing, and for Rio for being such a great participant. And I'll just pin the graphic recording again, and then we're going to move into some questions, answers, comments. So if you have anything brewing, feel free to add it to the chat, or you can use the raise hand function, and we can call you in to share. So I'll spotlight the graphic recording for a second. And I see Felipa with her hand up. I'll just take a second to appreciate the beautiful work that Alessandra is doing. Wow, this is incredible. Whoa. Cool. And we will share this after the session as well, so you can spend more time with it. So Felipa, you're welcome to unmute and share your comment or question.
Thank you. Obrigada, José e Rafaela. Gostei muito de ouvir. I've been hearing about all these stories from André Vizinho and from other people in Lisa and all that. And I just wanted to tell you and the others that I remember that just before São Luís was starting with this bubbling energy, there was a group of transition that then moved to São Luís from Aldeia das Amoreiras. That was in the beginning of the movement in Portugal, when it was launched. There was this initiative in Aldeia das Amoreiras with Sara and André Vizinho and all those. And this story of that group that then moved to São Luís and were part of the initiators of all that in São Luís. It's in one of the documentaries of transition, that is Transition 2.0. That is an online documentary from the Transition Network. And it's a really beautiful story that they brought. And I think that it really makes you can feel the DNA of the region and the roots of the traditions there, and how the group really respected. And this is what I really love about the story that I've been following from São Luís, is how all this new energy of regenerative thinking and systemic thinking is blending so well with the original people there in the rural area. This is what is really inspiring, and I always feel like thanking all the members of this community there, because it's so respectful of the local community, that I don't see it so often in other places where, this kind of people thinking in different ways come to regions and just root themselves, but they separate from the original DNA. And it's not the case of São Luís, that I know that's not the case. There is so much care about listening the people that are there. And I always think about this transition movement, about, people that relocate in rural areas, but bring a certain way of living and are not willing to, to collaborate what is there with the culture, local culture. So I know that you are doing a great job there about that. I've heard about your job, of your work. So I thank you. And we are going to meet soon, because there will be a tour of Rob Hopkins and myself, and we go to São Luís in October. We need to talk about that. That's me. Thank you. Obrigada. Trabalho fantástico.
It's okay if I reply. Just, I know it's not a question.
Thank
you, Filippa, for sharing. When we share about Gaia, it's actually the Aldeia das Amoreiras project. Andrea and Sarah, they were kind of the initiators in 2006, coming to there, and then they joined Sergio and Carmen and Filomena and another group to create Transition. And I just wanted to share a very brief story because of this relationship with locals. Because when we were building Espaço Nativa, it was a very insightful moment when we needed to do some cement work. We needed to do a wall and a roof and a floor and everything. And then a neighbor from the village, originally from here, was drinking a beer in Espaço Nativa and talking with both of us. Mm-hmm. And he said, okay, tomorrow at 7 I will come and I will bring my cousin and we will do the roof.
They were laughing. No, I will not
come.
And
And then he came 6:45, 15 minutes earlier.
15 minutes earlier.
We were with him working. And then we needed a plumber. And he said, no problem. He called a friend. The plumber came. And we needed an electrician. And he called an electrician. And the electrician came. Everyone did everything for free.
They have a community already.
Yeah. And this is the moment when we learned that, because we were trying to create a cooperative and a space where we wanted to include everyone and the local community. And then in those moments, I think we understood it was the other way around. We are the ones who need to be integrated, because the cooperative already exists and is not formalized, because it's not needed, because people still hold their word to each other and they have the commitment to each other. So, yeah, we try to follow and respect this process. Thank you for mentioning it, Filippa.
Oh, beautiful. I see it giving Ari goosebumps. Beautiful. And if there's any other questions or comments for anything that was shared by Irena or Tracey or Rafaela and Jose, feel free to. I see Hillary with her hand up.
Yeah, it's not really a question. It's just an observation that I found it so, I'm working on transition in London, and, we're doing our things, and I've been trying to encourage other people in the group to come onto these talks, and everyone's just so busy doing projects. They're doing the community garden this morning and things. But I'm going to send us the recording of this and say, please just watch it, because it's just so encouraging to see the same ways of working in different contexts. And I could talk for ages about the similarities and the differences, but it's just great. It feels really good to hear everybody and feel that we're not just us in London who feel and are trying to work this way. It's brilliant. So thank you all. I really, really enjoyed all of what all of you said. So it's not a question, it's a thank you, really.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Hillary. It's so beautiful to see the similarities across different contexts during this week. Any other comments or questions or anything bubbling up?
Okay. Well, anyway, so we're approaching the end of the session, so it would be maybe a good moment. I can see it's actually Tracey coming up. Tracey.
So yeah, I don't know. Just something that struck me is how important like having access to resources is, and taking what you guys did in Portugal. Looking at the image of that building that was more or less the waste site, and then looking at what Irena did in Croatia, looking at that big, I think you said 80 square meters of cement community square, and then us with we've got 28 square meters, which basically takes up so many people's lives. 28 square meters is like a black hole. It's, it attracts so much energy, but also creates things. So it's just really interesting, this kind of a different way of doing it, of doing something, creating something when you've got access to a resource, which this thing only actually exists if other people want to be part of it. So it's, maybe there's this creation and automatically it's a kind of co-creation at the same time. So I quite like playing with this kind of idea of what would happen if, imagine if Transition was to take over the local, let's not forget about let's forget the municipality, let's say the government buildings, and I always, when I go by Budapest Parliament, and I always wonder, wow, that would be just a brilliant community kitchen. That'd be a brilliant big community kitchen where every day people can go in to the Parliament and it's not full of these people. It's full of people going in and having good discussions over good food about what they want to do with, what's the community that's important to them. So yeah, it was nice. It was nice to think of these spaces that you guys have really changed.
Thank you. Well, this was amazing sharing. All three stories have their own beautiful and very charming angle, and also some serious topics that we need to keep focusing on and exploring and sharing how we did it in our communities. So we can also invite you to continue this conversation. And this was a beautiful invitation from São Luís to maybe meet there for this partner meetup event, which is financed by Erasmus+. So it's a good opportunity. So there are many possibilities, and I think we should keep this energy going. And